black and whites and didn't put it in black and white, though.
That's true.
Although we should have. That would have done...
Never too late. Yeah.
Is it ever really black and white, though? It's like gray.
Yeah, grayscale.
Yeah, grayscale, right? Black and white would be like Frank Miller comics, right? Like, that's black and white.
Love it.
And red.
And a bit of red, right?
Yeah. It's pretty grayscale here in 1951, I must say.
Right, yeah.
Wow. Oh, shit. The movies that are in theaters right now.
Oh, there were theaters. That was the only place you could see movies, probably.
Yeah. The Thing from Another World.
That was in 1951?
1951.
Yeah, haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it. What were you doing in 1951?
I wasn't doing anything. I was...
A glimmer.
I was another... I guess it was before I was born, so I would have been either living a different life, if you believe in reincarnation, or... Just, I think when you die, you go to where you were before you were born.
Sure.
So that's what I was.
Okay.
I was dead,
Wow.
for all intents and purposes.
Then we'll do a quick past life regression.
Yeah,
Just
right. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? When people talk about, like, I was reading, everybody wanted to be Napoleon, or everybody wanted to be Julius Caesar in a past life. No one was the stable boy or the guy that died of some tuberculosis at age 6 months. No, it's almost like, I was Nero, man. No, you weren't. So many of you wanted to be Nero. There's too many Neros.
They don't even know it was 1769 when Napoleon was born.
Right. Yeah. Is that right? Was that when he was born?
Yeah.
Wow. How do you know that?
My history buff.
Yeah.
When did he die?
Like 18 something.
Yes, 18 something.
After the 10s, that's for sure.
It was after...
I don't know if he quite made it to the 20s.
No, it was like 1817, I think. It's like something like that. Yeah.
Didn't we already talk about this in Twin Peaks episode or
I
something?
think I brought it up before.
No, we talked about it when we were off air. Yeah.
I'll never forget it because I once went to a grocery store and my order came out to this amount and I said, "Oh, that was the year Napoleon was born."
Wow.
And
Stuff it in your pocket and walk away.
And the cashier goes, I know that.
No, she goes. She said, "Are you a history buff?" And I said, "No, a bluff." But then I looked it up, and it was true.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you were, in the zone, right?
Yeah.
You had every, a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many negative years were you in 1950?
I was 8. I was born in 59.
Okay.
So I'm in my 8th decade right now.
Yeah, perfect.
50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, 8. So I tell people, I'm in my 8th decade. What?
Yeah. Wild. Because it's funny because the continuity here is that we asked Stella about the year of the movie she picked.
Right.
She wasn't born there. She wasn't born in 2000.
Right. Yeah. What? Wow. What movie was it?
Almost Famous.
Okay, good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
Cameron Crowe, man. He's like, he's done it all. Like, that guy's just...
Fast Times.
So many movies that he just wrote about his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Angels in the Outfield. I know I've seen the 90s version.
Yeah, I saw that.
The original?
Yeah.
Not hold up.
It's great. I mean, it's of a time, right?
Yeah.
Like that stylized filmmaking is of a time, and that's why getting back to talking about Streetcar named Desire, it broke all those molds of that stylized kind of filmmaking. That was the walls were coming down like in the late 40s, but they really came down quickly when guys like Brando came on the scene, and it made it way more real.
Bringing Tommy's words to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Tom, yeah. Right. Well, yeah. It was like every era that has that is an epoch, like all these things are happening. It seems like all art forms are going through a radical changes. Like if you look at the 60s
and
music,
the 90s.
TV. Yeah, there's always, it's not just one thing. I mean, in the 60s you can say, well, the Beatles. Yeah, but there was Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
There was the Kennedys getting shot. There was against the backdrop of Vietnam and avoiding the draft. And all these different things that made that era so influential. Woodstock.
That other concert where all the Hells Angels stabbed people.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Rolling Stones.
There was like a 5-month period of, wow, we're peace and love. No, you're not. Bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
I was surprised that came out before LSD.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been LSD.
Yeah,
that
Albert
was,
Hoffman.
yeah,
When did he take that bike ride?
Yeah. He might have had it on in his back pocket for a couple of years. I'm telling no one about this.
Yeah.
This is too fucking good.
Yeah. He came down 7 years later
Right.
and let everyone know.
Yeah.
And the fifth highest movie of 1951 is Streetcar Named Desire.
Big movie.
Jeez, I'm surprised it wasn't Alice in Wonderland.
No, that's number 4.
Yeah.
What was the biggest? 51. Oh, let me see.
It's
Oh, let me guess. It was like STELLA 17 or...
no.
Or it wasn't From Here to Eternity.
It was by a huge margin. This was like 5th of the year or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it like a religious epic, like the Ten Commandments or something?
What, the first movie of 1951?
It is an epic.
Yeah.
It's called Quo.
Quo Vadis.
There you go.
Right. Now that I didn't see.
No, nor have I.
Nor have I.
We should watch it.
But it seems epic.
Let's do it. Yeah.
It means
Stuck in the 50s.
who something. Because quo means
Yeah.
who, right?
Yeah.
Who farted? That's who farted?
For all I know, that could be what the movie's about.
It might be.
Quo do or die.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Good Morning?
No.
You should check that out.
Yeah. Post-war Japanese.
Oh, yeah, okay.
End of the 50s.
Speaking of grayscale.
Just getting black and white TVs.
Made in Japan. It's a Japanese movie?
Yeah. These
Okay.
kids go on a no talking strike, a vow of silence until they get a TV because they want to watch sumo wrestling
Interesting.
from the privacy of their own homes.
And it's just set in 1951 Tokyo?
Yeah.
Right.
No, not 1951.
58.
58.
58.
Or
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 58. But this is actually the first film we reviewed on Tired Masterminds.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It started
Interesting.
out with some farts.
Yeah. Get that back in
I
there.
love that that's all in alphabetical order.
Oh,
What
yeah.
what if you get a new movie and it's like
Oh, it sucks when it's...
yeah.
And then you got to keep them even,
Yeah,
so
you have
you
to
got to
work-
switch them
yeah,
around and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Inside baseball. The angel in the outfield, yeah.
Yeah. Before we start, we should introduce our guest for this evening. Maybe the
Yes,
guest
you
for
should.
many evenings, you never know.
You don't know.
Award-winning actor Kevin Jollimore.
I still haven't got my award yet. I got in touch with them and I said, I think I might want one of these. And they're like $500
Yeah,
or something like that. I
yeah.
said, yeah, I could
More
probably
than an
just-
Oscar.
I should just get a trophy from Amazon. That's
Yeah,
all my
yeah,
name on
yeah.
it. But yeah, proud moment for sure. Yeah, it's in my resume.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good time.
Just out of frame.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Can't be seen in the actual frames of the podcast, but it's up there.
Back there.
Oh, back there. Yeah, you can see him back there for sure. You can see him right here now.
Yeah, you can see me here. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
But no one's putting a
actually
gun to your head.
been staying pretty busy.
Yes, I am. I got a new band together, which
Okay.
is another one of my passions, and so that's taken me a while. I moved back here, as you know, like 5.5 years ago or so, and still got my band in Toronto. I'm actually going up there Friday for a gig, but I finally found the guys I want to play with here, so I'm putting some time into that
Nice.
Great.
and picking and choosing what I want to do on film.
Yeah.
So I got my little pilot film for my project, and then entertaining a couple other things.
Yeah.
I know some filmmakers like you
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
and I'm that's what I'm interested in doing.
Yeah.
You know, stuff that you have to work a little bit to see it to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I
We don't
enjoy
do
that.
this because it's easy.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, exactly.
No.
But it's not like you are new to the game.
No.
You've been around for a while.
I have.
I heard you say, didn't you work in Neptune as a child?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first acting gig, and I actually got paid.
What was the play?
It was called Lilium, which I don't really know if I ever sat down and watched the whole thing because I was like 8.
Yeah.
Lilium?
Lilium, and it was about this
Lillian with an M.
Yeah, Lilium. Yeah, with weird name.
Lilium.
Well,
That's
Liam.
your name.
Liam. Yeah. Little Liam. Is
Yeah,
he's
that's
upstairs.
what we call Dante. Yeah, Lilium.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, about some carny worked at a fair, and he ended up killing some or something. Anyway, there was a scene at the first of it where there's these kids running around at the carnival, and that's what I did. And it's funny because I could have really parlayed that into something at Neptune. They talked to me after and said, like, would you be interested in auditioning for the Christmas show that we do here? And it's a pretty big role, and they're singing in it, and it would really be great. And we think you could do a good job. And I was like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
That's funny.
I wasn't into it, and I was a little bit shy with, for years I had stage fright, but I used to put myself in to situations where I'd have to deal with it. But it took me a while to, and I didn't. I used to say no, thanks to a lot of things. But you know what? I'm not gonna beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually spent a summer or 2 summers in Winnipeg, but one of the summers I ventured onto the set of Dead Man's Gun.
Oh yeah.
And they dressed us all up in era-accurate clothing.
Cool.
All the kids that were around, and they're like, "All right, when we say action, you run to those bushes."
Right.
And we're like, "All right," and they called action, and we did it.
Yeah.
But we thought that it was like, we didn't even look at where the cameras were pointed, right? So they just took all the kids, dressed us up to humor us, and they said, all right, run as far away as you could possibly can.
Oh my God.
See that camera go the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
did not get
funny.
paid. Catering was good, though.
That's funny. Yeah, I got paid. Like, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was 17 performances, and I forget how much I made, but and I was in like grade 3 or 4, and I remember we're talking about the late 60s here, guys. So there was like no long hair at school. Like if you didn't have a brush cut, you were like considered a rebel, and no wearing clothes like the Beatles wore, like bell bottom or something like that. None of that was allowed in some schools. Like
Causeless.
Yeah. And I went to I ordered from Simpsons. I phoned them, said I'd like to order a pair of bell bottoms, like size whatever 6X, but I want bell bottom pants, and they were like $6. I said, yeah, I'll pay. I'm paying them.
Yeah.
And they delivered. They used to deliver. This is way back, ancient times. So they delivered them. And the next day I went to school with my bell bottoms on, and I was called to the office. The principal was, where'd you get those? What's going on with these pants? I go, I bought them. What are you talking about? I go, I have a job. I work at Neptune Theater.
That's awesome. Oh my God.
What?
Yeah.
You talk to your parents about this. You go right ahead. Yeah. They'll tell you.
But you didn't shy away too far from the industry, because you later ended up in The Siege.
Yeah, I did.
Hey,
how'd you know that?
Adam found it.
I was up for a big
me.
role in that too, and for some reason I didn't get it, which is cool. But that was the Donovans, who went on to greatness. Oscar, I believe.
Salter Street Films fellas.
Yeah.
Good guys, real can-do attitude.
Yeah.
And they did a bunch of movies. I'm not sure about the quality of them.
Yeah.
I've seen that one, and it's whatever. It's it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of guys scrambling, and they were in their early 20s probably then, so they were just guessing at a lot of stuff and paying a lot of money for flying. They flew a bunch of people in from Toronto as actors to give it some name
Yeah, there was
recognition.
guys from Meatballs.
Yeah, there's a
and
couple
stuff.
guys that you may or may not recognize, but
I remember you telling me that you remember when there was some riots on Gottingen.
yeah.
Was that
yeah.
before or after the filming?
It
of
was
Siege?
before, because in the movie Siege,
They used
they
B-roll.
used the,
Exactly.
the fact that there was a police strike in
what I thought,
Halifax,
Yeah.
and it was, let me see, would have been like 1981,
I think.
and it was in May of 1981. It had to be 81. I wasn't sure if it was 81 or 82, but the strike was called by the cops on my birthday in 1981, May 28th, 1981. And I remember I was at this party, and me and a bunch of guys, and probably a bunch of girls, and a bunch of booze, and a bunch of other things, and it came on the radio or TV that there was a police strike, and it was like, we're going downtown.
Yeah.
And we all went downtown. It was lawlessness. It was just lawlessness. Like, there was a guy I know that was sawing off with a hacksaw. He was sawing off parking meter things and taking them, trying to get the coins out of them. And there was no. Now, eventually, they brought the Mounties in, like about 4 or 5 days later. But there was like cops had bonfires on the police station at Gottingen and Cogswell or whatever. They were just, fucking do whatever you want. And it was crazy.
Jeez, they really hit the opposite end of the spectrum pretty fast.
Yeah. True enough. Yeah. And it went on for a while. It was like most of the summer.
Yeah.
And people were getting used to it. Like, this is the way it's going to be. You can park anywhere you want.
That's scary.
Drinking, walking down the street, walking down the middle of the street. And then when the law came back on, people were like, what are you talking about? We're not allowed to drink walking down the middle of the street. You never were, okay?
Yeah,
you never were allowed. There just wasn't anybody to enforce it. But things are going to get back to normal now, okay? Like, just chill it.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, the janitors went on strike.
Oh, yeah? Wow. For how long?
Couple weeks, I think.
Oh my! So
where were those toilets clogged?
Yeah, people yelling scabs at the people having to go try and clean our dumpster fire.
That's all. Yeah. Really. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not a big fan of strikes because you're basically holding innocent people hostage. I mean, what is the average person supposed to do, for example, when the mail goes on strike?
Yeah.
Phone your MLA and your MP and say, get back to the bargaining. Don't put it on me to solve your strike. You know what I mean?
You can do it with honking.
Yeah, honking. Yeah, that'll do it.
That support. It goes right in the bottle every time you do that driving by.
Yeah.
I support the teachers and all, but they were right there boycotting, and it was like, 7 in the morning, you'd hear the music blaring, and all of them, they're blowing horns and getting people honking.
I think there's a better solution than having go on strike. And I bet you a lot of people that go on strike aren't really happy to be on strike. Yeah. They'd probably rather be making their money.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're public sector and your transit system shuts down or something like that, that should be considered an essential service.
Yeah.
The janitors at your high school, I'm not sure if that's an essential service or not.
You would think.
After a couple months, yeah. So I get my close up and I'm like, So one time I worked at this bar I worked at in Toronto. We had a big screen, pull down the big screen, and someone brought that movie in on VHS.
Yeah.
I just did a little William Shatner there. VHS. And I said, let's play it. So we put it on the big screen. And at the scene where I'm like freeze frame, and I just left it on the big screen for like an hour. And it was in this old house that was a bar, and if you were driving up the street you could look in and there was a picture window, and all you would see was this big screen with my picture on it. And if you're walking into the bar and you'd look, there was me in the giant big screen, just a larger than life picture of me. What the fuck is your picture doing up on the thing? Well, whatever. Why not?
Yeah, that was awesome. But this streetcar got a little derailed, so we'll get back on track here. Desire.
I'm a stranger in this town that you see me walking round. Out of money, got no other place to go. Well, I came here yesterday, but I don't think that I will stay. I still got so many miles to go. I'm a stranger in this town. I was blown here by the wind. I'll get blown right back again, kicking dirt down another dusty road.
Yeah.
It's an emotional word.
Well, it's a streetcar named Desire.
Yeah.
There's the streetcar in New Orleans. That's what it says, Desire, because that's where it's going. Desire Avenue.
I didn't think it was going to be so literal.
Yeah.
Right off the hop too. It's
Yeah.
like the second piece of dialogue. Streetcar named Desire.
Streetcar named Bourbon.
922 Desire.
Right.
I was wondering if that was going to come back into play.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
it paid off there.
Well,
I watched too
Brando,
much Kubrick.
Brando made that role on Broadway. He wanted that role, and he was a nobody. And he went to Tennessee Williams' place, where I don't know where it was, maybe St. Louis or something like that. And basically pounded on his door and said, "I want to be in your play on Broadway. I want to at least have a chance to audition for it." And he got it. And then, of course, the rest is history, because they made him. They got him to do the movie, and it wasn't his first movie. I think it might have been his second or third movie, but it was the one that really put him up in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
You know, as this new kind of acting.
Stanley!
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
Remember when Stella was yelling that?
I didn't ever think that is this the first time we've actually reversed Seinfeld referenced a movie? Or we watched something that a reference on Seinfeld was from?
Maybe.
I think it is.
Well, I'm going to take your word for it.
Check the log.
Yeah. Out of the smoke comes Blanche. Didn't like that name the first time I heard it. But she gets
Little
directed,
too plain for you?
Yeah, to her house.
Blanche Dubois.
Dubois, yeah, that classes it up
That's
a
a
little
pretty
bit.
good name.
Yeah, White Woods.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I do love the feel of these films where like it's so obviously a set.
Yeah.
Like even the top and bottom had a little bit of it was like the most gritty version of Romeo and Juliet or something.
Right,
how he was actually screaming up to her and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the set gets smaller.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it
it's
more
pretty cool.
claustrophobic.
I mean, it was a real success on Broadway, so maybe they just ported some of that over. I'm not sure. I can't remember who directed the Broadway production, but Elia Kazan did the movie, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was in lockstep with that whole method of acting and screenwriting and filmmaking. He was an essential ingredient there. Yeah. He directed a lot of those great movies of that era. Also blacklisted for a while, and he named names, but that was another bad
McCarthy era.
He named names.
Yeah, he did. He took. Well, you know what? I don't know what are you supposed to do. I mean, these guys, like you said, McCarthy and all those guys, they were. A lot of it was anti-Semitism too.
Yeah.
You know, if you were Jewish in Hollywood at the time, you were painted with the communist brush a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so they already had they were already in the sights of somebody's right-wing nut jobs.
Yeah. Happened to Lucy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched. Did you see that movie with her, or Nicole Kidman?
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah.
So,
I didn't watch it all.
Her father was called out for being a Nazi.
Really?
And or in the red
Commies.
commie, sorry.
Right.
And she was getting pulled into that. So
Wow.
it was like, yeah, it's a lot of behind the scenes, like how she played like the dumb, stay-at-home wife kind of thing. She was actually like the genius that was driving that vehicle the whole time.
And she was She also she was behind Star Trek getting on TV too, right?
Yeah.
Desilu Studios, like they could have it came down to 2 shows that they were going to greenlight. One of them had to go, and she greenlit Star Trek.
Yeah. And even the couple upstairs kind of reminded me of like the neighbors from the Honeymooners.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like they had that same, just how they talked, but it was like, the grittier version of.
Yeah.
Like
right.
Like you said, the Hollywood was washed off this film.
Yeah. For sure. Well, it gave birth to a whole new kind of filmmaking. Yeah. Really. I mean, I don't think Brando was the first guy to do that method acting where you're just immersed in the character. There was guys before him like John Garfield, great actor to watch if you ever get a chance to see stuff. His late 40s would have been his era.
Yeah.
But Brando really, and like a lot of these iconic characters, like Elvis Presley, Marlon Brando, what a wild name.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever known anybody with the name Marlon? I know one guy, but Brando, like Elvis Presley, Brando, these crazy names.
Yeah.
If his name was John Smith, it probably wouldn't have had the same effect, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly. And is that
It's almost Saul Bass.
Is that his true voice?
Is it his real voice?
Yeah, and that is like
it's a version of it.
He's kind of like the Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
like
it's
Tom
a version
Hardy's like
of
the
it.
new
Yeah.
Marlon Brando. How his voice is just always so weird in all movies. Like
It is.
He chooses not to do his own voice.
Well, if you watch any of the talk shows he did, you'll hear his real voice. It's a version of it, you know. I think he was probably one of those guys that came up with a voice for every character.
Because he does a lot of eating and talking.
Right.
In this.
Yeah.
But even when he's not eating, it kind of sounds like he's got something in his mouth.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, did he always have cotton balls in his cheeks, or was that just good Godfather?
Yeah, right. Did you see that movie they did? Oh, God, what was it called? About the making of The Godfather. It's recent.
No.
It's good.
The Deal, or no, what's it called? Is it a show?
It's a movie. It's a one-off.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well worth it. There's a guy that plays Brando.
It's on Crave, I
In
think.
it, and he's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, check it out.
It's actually a well-known actor that plays.
Yeah, it is. It's a guy from
Waterley.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah. What is that called? Making of Godfather.
The Contract.
The Offer.
The Offer, right? Yeah.
It's one you can't
Refuse. Yeah, right.
Oh, it's
It's a guy from The Office or something, isn't it? Or
Dwight Schrute.
No.
Marlon Brando.
he played Flame Boy in one of the new Fantastic Four. And he was in Drumline. The guy from Drumline.
Pitch Perfect.
He's fairly well known.
Yeah.
Is he one of the Property Brothers?
Did you know any other movies that Stella was in?
That the woman that played Stella, Vivian Leigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in Gone with the Wind.
No, she plays Blanche.
Oh, Stella, the Kim Hunter.
Yeah.
Let me see. Not a lot, no.
She was in a lot of the old Planet of the Apes.
Oh, that's right.
Zira.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Zira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those. I haven't seen Gone with the Wind.
It's long. It's like a soap opera. It's like a long episode of Dallas or Dynasty, if you're asking me.
Twin Peaks. Couple long episodes of Twin Peaks, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Kim Hunter is Zira. That's right. Yeah. That's a great movie, too. Yeah. Planet of the Apes. Yeah. The real one.
Yeah.
The original.
Beautiful red ass.
Yeah. So right away, it's established you really got to let Blanche know that she's a looker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all about appearance with her.
Mm-hmm.
Where Stella is living a common life, as called in this, with a common brawling husband.
Yeah.
In Brando.
Yeah. Those stories that Tennessee Williams came up with, there's always a facade. It's a facade, very thin facade that is presented by the people, that the characters, to make it seem like everything's okay, like things are holding together and we've got ourselves a healthy unit here. But it's a very thin facade, and if you know the Glass Menagerie, I mean, it falls apart too. Their lives are really, they're not living healthy lives, but they continue to believe in this fake world that they put together.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
She lives a
total fantasy.
Her whole life's a fantasy camp.
Yeah. They're up on a tin roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all like, even, to Stanley there, tell her she looks good.
Right. Yeah.
And the best compliment this guy doesn't bullshit. So he's like, you look okay. I told her she looks okay.
Yeah.
Like, even to his wife doesn't say like, oh, I told her she looks amazing. He's like, yeah, I told her she looks okay. And
that's before the word amazing existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, or awesome.
Stan Lee wasn't around yet.
Right.
And lighting. She had a fear of harsh lighting.
Yeah, well,
She's some kind of Two-Face?
no,
She was
she
a
probably didn't
bit
want
of a two-face.
It's symbolic as well as realistic. I mean, she didn't want the light shining on her imperfections,
Yeah.
and her age.
Yeah, how old was she?
And also,
Probably
Yeah,
like late 40s, really. Probably
not just on her appearance, but metaphorically, didn't want that light shined on all of the darkness that actually is in her life.
Yeah.
Which kind of
Yeah.
all comes out in the end.
Yeah.
And she's hiding it with all these the rhinestone crown that to everyone else looks like diamonds. You don't know the difference, and probably plastic pearls, but you don't get too she doesn't let anyone get too close to tell anyways.
Right.
Well, that's not
Man,
true.
they cranked out those movies too. I mean, now I'm not gonna ever try to compare with now and then because it's apples and oranges, but I mean that came out, and then like shortly after that, another movie written by Tennessee Williams, with some of these method actors and Elia Kazan being involved. Like they were just once a year or maybe even more.
Yeah.
Not like 3-4 year space in between them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they felt like the sense of urgency, or if it was just like we better get these done before someone figures out that we shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff, or what,
Yeah, this is when plays really first started getting made in the movies.
True.
Yeah. And you were very lucky to have that arc where it would be something that could be on Broadway and then, in the theaters.
Yeah, quickly onto, Mm-hmm. Well, it was just before TV really exploded too, right? So there was still a lot of money in making movies, because that's just how people saw their entertainment. I mean, every town didn't have a Broadway, so they had to go to the movie theaters to see stuff. You had to bring it to them. Yeah. And there was no real, I don't know, what are we talking, 51? So, I mean, TVs were starting to become fixtures in people's houses, but they weren't.
Yeah.
Not quite, But another thing about the grittiness of that era, of some of these films we're talking about, was this is just post-war. Yeah. The horrible, horrible war that killed 60 million people, and everybody's family was affected by it. They had a father or a son or a brother or someone that was either in the war or died or whatever. Yeah. And that really took a lot of the frosting off of entertainment for a while. Yeah. Everything wasn't sweet and James Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing. There was, let's get real for a while, right?
Yeah.
And then you had all these actors that assumed those roles, James Dana, Monty Clift, and all these guys that just went to town with that realism and, the harsh reality of a post-atomic world,
Yeah. Being a kid barely existed then.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then...
Good way to put it, actually.
Yeah, and then... but then the baby boom came along. Yeah. And all of a sudden, teenagers were the biggest demographic, right? Yeah. Up until, was it 46 to 64, they say, something like that. That's the era when all the soldiers came back and got their wives pregnant. Yeah.
Or came back and their wife was already pregnant.
Yeah, right. The baby looks like the milkman.
I'd rather be a milkman in that era. Yeah. How do you avoid being conscripted?
Yeah, really. Hey, you gotta deliver the milk. I mean, if I'm in Germany, who's gonna deliver the milk?
Yeah.
I found it also interesting, like, Stella's there throughout the whole movie. You got this Mitch character,
Yeah.
But it's really Blanche and Stanley are the two main characters.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to watch a movie where you can't quite like either of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many cons against them.
Yeah,
in
the
their
anti-hero.
characters, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Like the anti-hero, the one that, you know, I think you can relate, though. Because life isn't so cut and dry. There's always gray.
Yeah.
You know, you might think you're a good person, but every now and then you're going to do something really shitty, right?
Yeah. And shitty people can do good things
That's
too.
right, and that's reality, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
And Blanche is divisive because some people feel she's a victim, and some people think that she's
a swindler.
deranged.
Just how she, that scene where Mitch first goes and talks to her, you can see she's just asking the right questions. She knows how to rope him in.
Play this guy. She's playing
And, you know, you can see him. He's being hypnotized by her.
Yeah. Carl Malden.
Yeah.
Good actor.
John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
What's the connection there?
Well, they just kind of
they get
the
the
same
same
kind
vibes,
of character, right? Yeah, same vibe, for sure.
I thought you were gonna
Like Magnolia era.
Thought you were
John
gonna say
C.
it's his
Reilly
dad
for
or something.
Sure. No, he could have been. I always thought it was the milkman, but
yeah.
maybe it was him.
That was a great scene with the swindling talk, because she is a swindler.
Yeah, for sure.
Brando does not like a swindler.
No.
Yeah, if he's swindling you, honey, that means I'm getting swindled, and I don't like getting swindled. And he's like, we got to get to the bottom of this. Yeah. What are we talking about again?
Yeah. It's pretty reasonable though to be suspicious here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's suspicious right away.
Yeah, he's all man, that character, Stanley Kowalski, right? Yeah. He's like, no bullshit. And
doesn't stop sweating.
No.
Yeah.
Sold a lot of t-shirts. That movie sold a lot of t-shirts.
Yeah. The wife beater.
Yeah.
Is that how that...
well, I don't know if it was a wife beater or was just a short sleeve t-shirt.
Oh, it was a short sleeve, but at the end.
Yeah, right, at the end. Yeah, for sure.
When everything goes down between him and Blanche, he's rocking the wife beater.
Right. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Or sister-in-law beater, whatever.
Blanche had a nice Penny Lane she wore.
Yeah, did you hear about this? That Ella was telling us that the jacket that Kate Hudson wore in Almost Famous, like very 70s era, but after that movie came out, it started being sold as the Penny Lane.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or some company must have grabbed onto that.
Her coat went viral.
Yep.
I could watch that movie again.
Oh, it's a great flick. Yeah.
There's movies I like to watch over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I haven't seen anything recently that I need to watch again, but
The Creator, I'm dying to watch again. I just saw that in theaters. It was done by the same director as Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a Christopher Nolan film.
Oh yeah.
It's bad that I don't know who actually directed it, but Denzel's son's in it.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There's some actors like Brando. I can watch him in I've seen everything he's ever done, but even the bad movies, he's just one of these watchable guys because you never know what's coming.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, he's got a script, and not that he'll stick to it verbatim, but you never know what's coming, and it never looks forced. Yeah. It looks pretty natural.
Oh yeah, and and as a character, he was hard to read as well.
Uh-huh.
You didn't know who was walking through that door.
Yeah, I think he was just in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't think he knew.
Yeah.
He was just being the character.
Yeah, and I was wondering that, like, because I know that he's pulled some amazing things, like improving during scenes, and just some ways when he'd be like the scene where he's like, "Here, let me clear my plate. Here, my plate's clear. You want me to clear yours?"
Right.
But how he'd stumble over things to pick them up. And I don't know if he actually did that or he just knows, like, it wouldn't be natural just to pick it up right away. You gotta stumble over it a little bit.
Yeah, who knows,
and just,
right? Like,
even with playing with the beer bottle, when he opens that up and he's like spraying it in his face and spraying it like champagne kind of thing.
Did you ever do any acting? Other than the running from the camera?
Nothing good.
In Manitoba. Yeah. Sometimes you just let the character and the situation propel you.
Oh.
Like,
Actually, I did. The only acting credit that I have was this film that we did up in the North Shore, like Tatamagouche, Pictou area.
Yeah.
And I got bully number 3.
Bully number 3?
Yeah. And I did do improving because it was the only way that I could make myself comfortable.
Right.
So we were cornering these guys off, and they had the classic hooks behind them. We were in a school. And I was just like staring at this one, like they're just saying, okay, you don't say anything, just stare them down. So I'm like, all right, I can do that. And as I'm staring them down, I'm kind of looking over, and I see the hooks behind them. Like, oh, let's see how this works. So we're walking away, and I grab him by the shoulders and kind of hook his sweater on the back, and then he knew what I was doing, so he hung a little bit. Yeah. And it was perfect.
Nice.
And then the other scene, so they kept that, and then the other scene I had to say, hit him. Yeah, we got your back. And I told a couple of guys I was going to do this, but I didn't tell the actor. And I just, we got your back, and I slapped him on the ass. Yeah. And they kept that, too, because it was just such a funny reaction that he got. He was supposed to deliver a line right after, but that was that hesitation.
Yeah.
And it just worked.
But it was the first day, and you ruined his wardrobe for the whole shoot.
Right, yeah.
With your improvisation. It's the hole in the back and the rest of it. All the shots before it have the hole.
Yeah.
Well, there's a million examples of actors doing that.
That's my acting career there.
And they're leaving it in. We're going to leave it in. It's too
If
good.
it works, it works,
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of any of that?
You tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like recently when I did this show, Turnbuckles, with the Trailer Park Boys Network, I had a script, but a lot of it, I came up with some actions and some stuff that I thought maybe the director wasn't ready for, but I thought would be part of the character. And I came up with, do you know who... you know those guys that do the boxing announcing, Michael Buffer and all those guys, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, I bet you my character would have something like that. Like, let's get ready to call the wrestlers into the thing. And while I was doing this speech, I just thought, I was thinking while I was doing it, and they were filming me, and I just thought, I'm going to throw this in there and see what happens. And it was, my catchphrase was going to be like, let's bring it. Yeah. And they left it in. They go, that's great. Let's bring it. Like that's going to be your saying from now on.
Yeah.
So like came out of nowhere. You can always the nice thing about film now is if it doesn't work, you're not wasting footage. It's digital.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it again. It's no good. Delete. Yeah. Whatever. Right. Like getting back to Siege, that was done on film. No. So a mag held 24 minutes of film, right? Now, 24 minutes, that might sound like, you only need 4, then you got yourself, no. That, you might get 1 or 2 scenes, like, because you do 5 or 6 takes, and like, there's your 24 minutes, and, you weren't able to see it.
You gotta send it off for processing.
Well, Jerry Lewis, the comedian, as if you knew any other Jerry Lewises. He was one of the first guys.
The podiatrist?
Yeah. Or if not the first guy.
Spelled with a G.
To take
an I.
To take a camera, a video camera, a primitive video camera in the late 50s, and he taped it to the actual film camera.
Yeah.
So he could see instantly what it looked like. Yeah. Before it had to go get processed and whatever. Now, being in Hollywood, it would have processed overnight, and the next day they'd see it. But no, he taped, like, how big a video camera was back then. It's probably the size of a microwave oven, at least, right? Taped it to the camera. And he never did the same scene twice either. Okay. And he directed a lot of stuff he was in. Yeah. So he'd always change it.
And that's why they invented coverage.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, really. Well, there's a scene in a movie called The Nutty Professor, which is one of his masterpieces. It's a silly name. If it was named something else, it would have been an even bigger movie. But it's very good. Anyway, there's this scene that he's got this. Do you know the movie, The Nutty Professor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Buddy Love, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got this teacher standing up on his desk, pretending he's in Henry V by Shakespeare or something like that. And in the corner of the screen, Jerry Lewis is losing it, laughing. He's doing the Carol Burnett thing, breaking character and laughing. And he always said, I should have replaced that because here I am laughing. But I realized no one was watching me. They were watching the guy on the desk, and it was so good that I thought I'd leave it in and just hopefully get away with it. But the movie went on to such great heights that people look at Jerry laughing.
Yeah. That's funny. Eddie Murphy did a. That's how I first heard about it. Was Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And the first time I've ever seen Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah.
He cameos in that.
Yeah. Well, the original is pretty good. Jerry Lewis was a major filmmaker. Real prick. Yeah. Apparently, but you've seen the Seinfeld when Jerry goes.
Yeah, the cufflinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Great conversation starter.
Yeah.
We got the same name.
Yeah. Give me a couple eggs and bacon straight. That's how he ordered the bacon straight.
Yeah, no.
What the hell's that?
Yeah.
I guess it's straight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, and if you brought him the bacon not straight, he probably lost his shit. Don't you know who I am? No, we don't know who you are. What, don't you know who you are?
Yeah.
Such a Devo.
Oh my God.
So another thing about this Stanley character.
Oh yeah.
Again,
right.
I said
which one's he?
He couldn't tell a lie.
Right.
So as much as he wasn't supposed to say anything about the baby, he's like, yeah, she got a baby on the way. Let's it slip about the little S gulp in there.
I don't think that character wants to lie.
Yeah. I
think he's tough enough and to just, I don't have to lie. I'm not afraid of the truth.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, he's a personification of the harsh realities.
Yeah.
Where they're just talking about this fantasy of a oil baron that's supposed to pick her up and take her on a cruise.
Right.
This guy's covered in oil. He's on the bottom end of the oil industry. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he loves it. He's proud of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel ashamed when this, even if she was as high class as she tried to play herself off as.
Yeah.
It doesn't make him any less proud or think of himself any differently.
And he turns into Columbo and he's like, "Oh, one more thing. What? When the telegram come in?"
Yeah, one more thing, Mrs. Dubois. The telegram. Never mind. But it's bugging me that you.
What the fuck?
He's one of those actors that he's you can't see anybody else doing that role. Like, can you see anybody else doing The Godfather, Don Corleone?
Yeah.
Can you see anybody else doing Stanley Kowalski? It's been tried.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
I know that.
What, Bogey wasn't available?
I don't know if they looked at anybody else for Stanley Kowalski after Brando had such a great run on Broadway with it, but I do know that they were looking at other people for Don Corleone and The Godfather.
Oh yeah.
Burt Lancaster was one of them. And they had, you'll see that movie, The Offer.
Yeah.
He was not their first choice, and he had to convince. Coppola wanted him. The studio didn't want him.
Yeah. I forgot to look up who's playing that actor. I'm going to look that up.
I think it's someone from... I thought it was someone from The Office, but I don't know.
Toby?
Justin Chambers. Who's this guy? Oh, I don't recognize him. From Grey's Anatomy.
There you go. That's right.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. Rhymes with Shanja.
You might not have got that Escalp reference. You ever seen the movie 8.5? 8.5? Italian
It's
film?
8.5. It's a Fellini flick. It's his 8.5 movie.
I don't think so.
That's a good one.
Honestly don't
We
think
did
so.
on the cast.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty rad and modern feeling.
Yeah. So those are the only other grayscale films that we've discussed on here.
That's a new thing, grayscale films. It's
Yeah.
not black and white anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
good.
this season we did Lighthouse. That's
Oh, yeah.
that's almost a black and white film.
Sure. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple Frank Miller scenes in there for sure.
That movie is so good that you can almost smell it.
Yeah.
You can almost, like, they're living in that hovel together, and you can
Yeah.
almost smell the funk.
The semen.
Yeah, just the disgusting two
Yeah,
guys.
them
living-
two.
Yeah. No,
I
get it.
smell Javex, but nothing's
Yeah.
clean.
Oh my god. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Swab it again.
Yeah. Smells like kerosene and honey.
Yeah.
But how do you think he felt about this baby coming along? Think he was happy to...
Yeah. Well, it's an expense.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I don't think he never expected to have kids.
Yeah.
I think,
Or, in those times it just wasn't a big... like, it was almost like a automatic, like...
right.
Yeah.
It's kind of why you got married.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not for
And I
any
think they
emotion-
needed it as
not for any emotional
contrast
tie.
to Blanche a lot, too.
Yeah.
Right.
It just raised the stakes and
right.
created
I'm
a different
your
dynamic.
younger sister, and I'm having a baby. And
Yeah.
look what I got going on. Yeah, I might be married to this guy you think is a slob, which you really don't think he's a slob because you probably want to fuck him.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's sort of living the dream,
Yeah.
And
it turns it up a notch, too, when he starts getting rough with her, because you automatically think, like, she's pregnant, you're going to do something with the baby.
Yeah.
And when
He kept it high, didn't he? It was hard to see around that corner.
Fucking Cheech sure laid him out. he came in out cold before that hot shower. But I thought, and I kind of knew that the movie wasn't going to go this way. But when she's slowly coming down the stairs, it's like, oh my god, if she tripped on purpose, and then she's now at his feet.
Yeah.
As he's on his knees, she's down on the ground, and it's the unrepairable accident or whatever.
Irreparable.
But that's even
that
better.
too.
That's
yeah,
even
both
better.
of those things.
Yeah. But yeah, didn't go there. But it just shows how easily, those guys were taken back. Given 20-second chances.
But
he's crying. He feels he won't do it again.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know where it comes in this exactly, but Blanche and Stella are having this heart-to-heart at one point, and they almost seem like they're gonna have this Island Boys situation. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the nose to nose.
Yeah.
Butterfly kissing.
Yeah, butterfly kissing.
Yeah. Because they're giggling like girls, like they used to do as kids, and quit your cackling in there. Like,
Yeah.
You can't hear us. Well, you can hear me. And I said, shut it.
Yeah.
And then she's Blanche. She's a fire starter.
Yeah. Big time.
Stella goes in the washroom and she turns the radio on.
Yeah.
That doesn't last long.
What was the next movie that Brando did after that? Was it On the Waterfront?
That would have been my guess.
Yeah. Another character that you can't see anybody else playing. Terry Malloy.
Have you seen this? On the Waterfront? I haven't seen it.
I'd have to double check because I kind of blurred the lines with this one and that one and things that he did in that era. But it turns out that I've seen a lot of this one before between The Simpsons and the internet.
He did the Wild One and Julius Caesar both before
On the Waterfront?
On the Waterfront.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were, like I said,
Both of them came out a year before.
They were doing a lot of work, those guys.
Yeah.
Another movie with brutes.
Well, I think that was in those times, there was always that guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's so sad. There's so many actors out there. There's so many guys out there now.
Yeah.
But there was just like him, and then
You're
James
right.
Dean,
Yeah.
James Cagney.
Yeah.
Even you said him earlier, James Stewart.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are we going to pull out our James Stewart impressions? Wah, wah, wah.
So it was always those guys and a couple dames in the mix as well. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
It was funny that I wrote that just as a line, probably just because I like it, like Sin City and the lingo from old film noirs. That I was like, who's this dame? Like I just thought to myself, and then it's like the first thing that Marlon Brando refers to her as. It's like, see, I'm
Cliche.
in the pocket.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure.
But quite the case with her that gets cracked.
The
Along
Belle
the way.
Reeve?
Yeah, the Belle Reeve.
Right.
She lost it. She says that she resigned, but it was actually taken away from her because she got into a bit of an entanglement with one of her students.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty common theme in Tennessee Williams stuff. Like there's always a character that's trying to cover something up and gloss it over.
Yeah.
And it comes back to haunt them. It always does. Yeah.
And he spooks her right off the start because he's like, oh, yeah, I got some lawyer friends. Mm-hmm. Like, probably a bluff. I don't see this guy hanging out with many lawyers, but you never know.
Oh, yeah.
Small town desire.
He's like the guy from Pawn Stars. He's like, I'm going to have an expert come in and look
right.
at this.
Yeah. And then she asks about Mitch, and she says, is he a wolf?
Mm-hmm.
Which I found, like, is he a threat? Because she's already being like, okay, yeah, who are these guys he's bringing to the house? Maybe this is the lawyer. He's kind of clean cut.
Right.
And then she's like, all right, let's get close to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's aching for a marriage.
Yeah, she plays him for a sucker, though. It's kind of sad. It's a sad character. Colin Malden played a lot of them.
She goes after the paper boy. Gives him a quick smooch, but won't give anything to... he's got a good physique, too. You can punch him in the stomach. Won't even feel it. 6'2", 240.
Yeah, he's been working on himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, swing and a miss for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But later on, there's another part to the... and then he starts hearing some stories about her escapades in Oriole.
Right.
At what he thought was the flamingo. But I loved that where she's kind of coming to terms with it, and she's like, it was actually called the tarantula.
Yeah.
And that's where I...
Set up shop.
I have the line somewhere as the tarantula. That's where I brought... This is where I had meetings with many strangers. This is where I brought my victims.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I thought it might go that way. Like, she's the femme fatale.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can tell that she's not healthy. She's not all there in the head, but I thought it might turn for Marlon.
Yeah, but it might have been that she was at one point that femme fatale, and that she was she's just reliving past glories. But it was just so transitional that she was only that femme fatale for a very short period of time, and she got a little too old.
Yeah.
Something else, who knows what happened, but
Lost her charm.
lost her charm. Yeah.
And
Stopped
lost
turning heads.
her appearance.
Yeah.
But it's not even her physical attributes. It's actually the facade that she carried around.
That's right.
With her.
And she probably still thinks that. I mean, she's setting her sights a lot lower with guys like Mitch.
Yeah.
But I still have this power.
Yeah, exactly.
I still have this power. It's not quite.
I could marry him. He'll take care of me. Yeah, he's about to lose the only woman in his life.
Yeah.
So he's there's space.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because there also is Alan, who she says shot himself. Because she's saying, he ran out of the dance.
Yeah.
Put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
But then she also says, that's when he got shot. So it's like unclear. Maybe he didn't kill himself. Maybe she killed him. So you're right. He probably She was a femme fatale at one point.
Yeah, for sure.
A little more effective to keep that grayscale, though.
Yeah. Exactly. So I knew that the scene where everything, blows up between her and Stanley was going to happen, but it was interesting that I didn't quite know what way it was going to go. Mm-hmm. I thought maybe she'd end up being the aggressor.
Right.
But that wasn't the case.
Chekhov's argument.
There it is.
Are we talking Chekhov from Star Trek, or are we talking Chekhov from...
The gun.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If you show a gun, you gotta show it go off.
Right.
But Alfred Hitchcock wouldn't agree.
No.
That was the worst thing he ever did, was let the bomb go off.
Yeah.
What movie did I see the other day that was just so Hitchcockian? I can't recall, but it was just, such a genre defining director. Hitchcock,
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't write them, he just directed them, but still, the stamp that he managed to put on some of these films,
Yeah. That was one of the biggest compliments that I feel we got on 5 Pounds, was that it had some Hitchcockian elements to it.
Right.
And also was compared to the scene with Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken in True Romance.
Yeah.
The tension.
Love that scene.
Man, I was like, I don't feel like even any of the awards amounted up to that compliment for me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a great scene. That'd be a good audition piece.
Oh, yeah.
It's so edgy, though. It's pretty filled with racial epithets, right? So, that's the way people talk, though. Mm-hmm.
But at least, as far as Quentin films go, because it was written by Quentin.
Yeah, that's right.
It's probably the most interesting of his racial dialogues.
Right. Yeah.
It's,
this guy's going to kill him.
Yeah.
So he's going to make him feel as bad as possible.
Yeah,
and he knows he's going to get killed.
Yeah. There's like some history involved.
Yeah.
Where in Pulp Fiction, he's just throwing the N-bomb around.
Right. Yeah.
But no, that's a great flick.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
But Stanley's a Pole.
That is true.
Yeah, not a Polak.
That's right. Yeah.
You made me say it. You wrote me into that. How'd you do that? Yeah. And it's funny. I'm a good old American. I was born in the greatest country in the world. Don't call me that. Which, again, how do you think that kind of ties into... Because he was in the war, right?
Probably. We're talking 6 years before.
Yeah.
Because 25. So he would have been doing something.
Because he kept saying that him and Carl... Like, I know they worked together.
Right.
But at one point, there's 2 times where he's like, me and him were in the 292 or something like that.
That's
so
right.
I think they were in the war together.
Yeah.
So, that could play into it as well. That, because of, Poland was the first to get invaded.
Big time.
So, it
was the start of the war for sure.
If you could say that, Poland had some weakness, there's no weakness in this guy. So he didn't want to be compared to that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, he probably thought of himself as a Pole, but probably thought of himself as an American, every bit as much as an American as well as being a Pole. Yeah. But
which still people jump to the conclusion that you're from here, and it's like, yeah, my family's from there, but I've born and raised here, so I consider myself Canadian or American or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
My friend went to Poland and he said he got 100 liters of beer for $5 Canadian.
Wow. 100 liters? What?
Yeah.
And he lived to tell the tale.
Did.
We were there a few years ago. It's an amazing country. It's been marched across by every army that you can imagine. Of course, there's a lot of some of the biggest extermination camps are there. Like Auschwitz is there.
Yeah. Yeah, between that and the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, that area of the world. It's one big battlefield.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's in the future. We can't even say that.
What?
Pat Benatar?
No, but because of a future guest
Oh, okay.
said, after watching Hostel, he's never going to Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can avoid that situation, you know, pretty easy.
He's like, I'm not going. No.
That's funny because about, 6 or 7
He
years
was doing a lot of that too.
6 or 7 years ago, we went to Thailand, and I was totally against going to Thailand because I just seen these movies in quick succession about. One was a couple women got kidnapped and they're never seen again, and one movie was about this guy that was out drinking, and next thing you know, he's in a bathtub filled with ice cubes, and his kidneys are gone, and something else was about some drug camel that they never saw him again. So I go, this doesn't sound like a fun vacation to me. And I'm not eating any of the food that they sell off the street.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting in one of those little fucking, they're called tuk-tuks. They're like motorcycles the traffic, like 24 lane road, and there's no lanes. It's just a road. Everybody's going all over. I'm not doing any of that either. I'm not buying anything from any of the street vendors because they're all corrupt. Yeah. Within the first day, I had eaten a scorpion on a stick from a street vendor. Yeah. I bought some pants from this street vendor for $6 that were bootleg Levi's.
What's your principal think of them?
Right. And then I went on a tuk-tuk ride to like the red light district. So like in the first 24 hours, I had all my rules were thrown out the window because it's just when you're in Thailand, do as the Thais do, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you travel, you can stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
They're not going to make a movie about the tourists that stayed out of trouble.
Yeah.
They're going to make a movie about Hostel. The tour.
Yeah.
It gets a bad rap.
There are some creeps there, though. I just saw a video with this guy, an MMA guy, but not like a fighter one. And he was in Thailand and with his girlfriend. And this guy tried to get into their apartment and was being a total piece of shit and had to take a deep knee to the solar plexus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some weird shit going on over there, but there's weird shit going on in Halifax.
No,
Yeah.
Maybe not to the same scale, but there's some weird stuff going on everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You can keep your nose clean. Criminals get in trouble, but
What about that glove guy?
who's that?
All around Halifax.
There's some guy driving around offering rides home to like university students if they'd try on some gloves and like really work them in kind of thing.
And they know who the guy is too. He's got like a website and stuff, but
what?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Lovemyglove.com.
Holy cow.
Or CA, sorry.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, because .com was already taken, right? Yeah.
Call now.
Love my glove. Okay, I'm gonna definitely.
No, it's not. I made that up. But
it's close enough.
Adam might be telling you the truth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So how does it all boil down? You find out that Blanche is just completely filled with malarkey.
Yeah, she's a phony.
Yeah.
And she needs her sister more than her sister needs her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's taking a step down, and this is like where she's planning to stay.
Yeah. And, her sister would disagree because she's so brainwashed by her sister that, she just had a baby and she's still waiting on her hand and foot.
Right, yeah.
And you come in when she's in that Queen Elizabeth cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Having her requiem for a dream moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And then, again, when you come in, I didn't know what was going to happen between her and Brando because it just seemed like, maybe they're just going to fuck. Maybe there's the tension between them. You just can't call.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did she actually kiss her sister at one point as well?
I don't think so.
I feel like that happened later on.
Yeah, but speaking of Mandela effect,
Mandela.
Right.
I don't remember this from an older time.
People are always saying, it's not Luke, I am your father. It's no, I am your father. It's not just Stella, it's hey Stella every time.
Right. Yeah. And there's a bunch of them. But yeah, you remember what you want to remember.
Yeah, there's tons of that Mandela effect, eh? Like even like the peanut guy doesn't actually have a monocle or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's all these weird
That's right.
things. Yeah.
No, the peanut guy has the monocle. The Monopoly guy doesn't have the monocle.
Doesn't have the monocle. Yeah. And the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. But then so Marlon Brando seems to get away with everything that he's done. He's just back at the poker table. Got the guys over.
Yeah, but he's not an evil character.
Yeah.
He's just a very base individual, you know.
Yeah. But he doesn't go completely unscathed because the story ends up, she gets taken away and taken to a loony bin or something like that.
I thought she stuck the landing there. Wasn't that the guy who she said was coming for her?
Right, yeah.
Well, her brain adjusted to let her think that.
Right.
Because he let her, he just took her arm and she was fine with it, just went away.
What year did Sunset Boulevard come out? Because there's a lot of analogies between Norma Desmond and Blanche Dubois, like someone living in the past, reliving
a year
past
before,
glories.
year prior, 1950.
Yeah, that was a big movie. Yeah. And
Mulholland Drive type.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That would be a good movie to do a show on. Sunset Boulevard or Mulholland Drive.
Well, if we do Sunset Boulevard, we'd love to have you back for it.
That's a great movie. Yeah. You know, the wild thing about that movie, it starts at the end. The guy, your anti-hero protagonist, is dead. He's drowned. He's in a pool, face down in a swimming pool. And he starts narrating the story.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a challenging jumping off point.
He starts narrating. He's like, "My name's Joe." My name's Joe, and I'm dead, but I'm gonna start the story at the beginning, and then it just goes back into the beginning, and you find yourself rooting for the guy, knowing that he dies.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty well done movie. Billy Wilder directed it. It's got.
It's kind of at the start of my film noir idea. It kind of follows this guy for a bit, and he's doing a narration throughout the whole scene. But then he gets shot, and he goes, "But this isn't my story." And then he's a part of it, but it's following a completely different character the whole way through. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Billy Wilder's a pretty funny character, though. I just heard a funny story about Tom Cruise getting introduced to him by Cameron Crowe. Did a book with him. Or conversation with him, and he wanted him for a role in Jerry Maguire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he introduced him to Tom Cruise, and like the whole scenario with like he doesn't want to be in it.
Did you hear a click?
Yeah, so he refused to be in Jerry Maguire, but then called him up afterwards and was like, "Who is that guy who played me in the movie?"
He played me.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome. Jerry Maguire. Another connection. That was a 2000 movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you know it was Cameron Crowe?
I didn't.
He went on to quite.
Or wait, no, I did because that's how we looked it up. We were looking up Cameron Crowe films, and that came up in the list or something. Maybe it didn't come out in 2000.
I can't remember when it came out. 97, 99.
Yeah. So it doesn't end completely back at the beginning for Stanley, because the whole thing ends up with Stella saying, "You know what? I'm not taking this guy back. I'm not bringing this baby into this life," and finally works up the courage to walk away. Mm-hmm. You think it's because after finding out everything about her sister, it's like, the dependency on men.
Yeah, maybe she's just trying to break that cycle of depending on,
Yeah, because that's what drove her. That's what drove Blanche mad, was her dependence for men.
Another recurring theme with Tennessee Williams, like in The Glass Menagerie, the matriarch says, "I've always depended on the kindness of strangers." You know, it's kind of a recurring theme. There's these.
That line's in this, isn't it? That she's
meetings. I've had many meetings with strangers, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but right near the end, when she's getting taken out by that guy, doesn't?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
There was a real point when Tennessee Williams, just everything he wrote was solid gold. It was only like about a 5 or 6 year period, like 1949 to about 1956, and then he just fell off, and he wasn't really able to come up with these tight stories anymore. They were starting like there was a lot of booze and drugs and just being wealthy.
That's interesting, because he was very paranoid about the idea of like if he talks about something that
he'd lose it.
That it would be like scaring a bird off.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he kind of did it. He did it himself. I mean, him and Truman Capote. I mean, they both kind of drank themselves to an early death, and they left a great legacy. But there was a long period of decline after their great work. You know, I guess a lot of artists are like that, but
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Have you guys peaked? You think is this the zenith of your guys' career right now, or is there yet more hills to climb?
I don't know. I just try and enjoy the journey. Right. To tell you the truth, I don't even think about other than, you know, some of the stuff we spoke about. I don't really think about the end point too much.
Yeah. They're just kind of riding it out.
Yeah, the great way to deal with it is just, this is what you do.
Yeah.
There's no making it, not making it, failure or success. There's none of that. Yeah. It's just what you do.
Yeah, it's just doing it, really.
Yeah.
Having the discipline and...
Totally.
Yeah, we're coming up on a year strong.
Good. Yeah, great.
Consistent every week.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping to have you back, and we can travel back in time to 1950. Hang out on Sunset.
Maybe, yeah. That's a great movie. Have you seen it?
No.
God.
Yeah.
It's a movie about movies. It really is. It's of a time.
Yeah.
But there's aspects of it that will remind you of Streetcar Named Desire. Like there's people living in fantasy worlds, and it's pretty great.
The grayscale mostly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Big time. Yeah. Good name for a movie. Grayscale.
Not bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
So anything, any thoughts on the film that you didn't get out yet?
No, I think I touched on just about everything. I do. I mean, the direction, the writing.
Why'd you choose this movie?
Because I remember when I first saw it, and it blew me away. And obviously didn't see it in 51. I probably saw it when I was about 13 or 14 years old. And probably, definitely saw it on like late night television. And I heard about it, but I'd never seen it, and it was better than what I'd heard. Like, I didn't really know much about Marlo Brandon other than this crazy actor. And it was a total home run for everybody concerned. You know, it's like it was as great as it lived up to the promise. You know,
and it put him on the map.
Sure did.
Yeah.
And he's got a few of those, so it wasn't like a fluke. He's got a few of those.
Yeah.
It's got a 7.9 on IMDb. You think it should be higher or lower than that?
Well, I'd like to know what they call a 10.
Shawshank.
Or a 9.5 or whatever. Is there such a thing as a 10?
Dark Knight. Yeah.
What's the highest rated movie? It's not bad, but it depends on what their their metric is.
It's solid. You don't want a 10. That's too polarized.
No, it really
you don't
is.
want a 3 because that's too shitty.
Probably be like the English Patient or
but
Citizen Kane or
if,
something.
if something lands in the 7 to 8,
I would say.
that's like the...
My top 10 films are probably in that range.
Yeah, that's the range you want to be in because you're pissing people off for a certain thing.
Right.
And you're rising above all the pissed off people to get a high score.
Yeah.
Ooh, 8.6. 7 got an 8.6. That's pretty good.
That's a little too good.
A little too good.
Might
All right.
suck.
Don't like it anymore.
The movie 7?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this about that movie, because there's a plot hole that's the size of the fucking Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
She dies, right? And he finds her head in the box.
Yeah.
You're referring to her neck?
Well, yeah. Everybody that dies in that movie has committed some kind of affront or crime against this guy's code of ethics.
Yeah.
What was her crime? What did she do wrong that she deserved to get murdered?
I feel like this has been answered.
Should be
and
called
I can't remember,
8.
but she's the 8th deadly sin.
Yeah.
What I just always wondered, why did she have to die, or was it just punishment to him? Was he the one that was being? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
It's a great movie. David Fincher.
Did he double dip on Pride?
It was a drastic move to make him Wrath.
Okay.
Because he didn't know he knew that, like, I think he had his sights on this guy because of the exchange that they had in the hallway and all that.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know, because it's so hard to tell, because it seemed like this masterful plan that he had, that it doesn't really say how long he's been watching this Brad Pitt character.
Yeah.
But I think it's just from that. So it was kind of like a drastic attempt of how the only way you're going to kill me is if I do this.
Maybe, yeah, right.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I got to watch that movie again. Even just the intro is
it's
fucking
brilliant.
heavy duty.
Oh, yeah. So many hours went into that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably put a lot of miles on his rubber boots watching Brad Pitt in that one.
It's
rainy, yeah.
Yeah. And he does kill that role. The monologue going through the desert.
Yeah.
We won't name names.
Yeah.
Well, is he going to work again, you think?
I think he is.
Elton John was just in court saying that he wasn't even at that party. So.
Isn't it funny that a guy like Kevin Spacey, who has been charged, taken to a court of law and found not guilty, wasn't found innocent, no, not guilty, but he's still ostracized. Meanwhile, you can turn a radio on and hear a Michael Jackson song. Do you find that? I find that
It's off the wall.
confoundingly weird.
Bad.
That this guy, it's bad and it's off the wall. I can't see.
Makes me want to scream.
I can't see how they can get away with playing Michael Jackson music, knowing what he did. It's like OJ. OJ's ostracized. He was found not guilty. Yes, he's found guilty in a civil trial, but he was found not guilty.
Yeah. I don't see reruns of the Cosbys on it anymore.
Yeah, and I haven't even seen a Michael Jackson biopic.
Well, I mean,
unless that's what Corey Feldman's doing.
No, he's that guy, total victim. I mean, what a weird life he has.
He's got his angels.
Oh my God. Creepy.
But yeah, but he, the people that it seems like might
he's
have
got a pass. Just everybody else doesn't have to get. He's got the hall pass.
He backs all the people that I think would be in question for creating his victimization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a big Schumacher supporter.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Which Schumacher's never been actually called out for anything, but I have my suspicions.
Well, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
You have your suspicions.
Yeah. I do. Don't you?
I don't know. I just want to have an opposing view. It said specifically somewhere online, some nerd wrote that he didn't have any claims against him, but give it a couple years.
Well, no point now, I guess.
Well, that's what you would think, but it all comes out eventually.
Yeah.
There's tons of legacy statute of limitations beyond things that have come out.
Yeah, they're still arresting people for Tupac.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keefe D.
Are they getting any closer?
Well, they just arrested
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what happened with that, but now it's getting pinned on
Well, there's been a guy who's been
Puff Daddy.
Yeah, he could have been involved. Yeah. He might go down for it as well.
Yeah.
But it was pretty well a cold case, and then in 2018, this guy took on the case, and they had made some breaks back then, but couldn't really do anything about it, I don't think. And then so it was like a 5-year investigation. So it wasn't overnight.
Well, it's strange because there actually was I forget who put the music video out, but there is a person that has been known as the murderer of Tupac for like 20 years now. This Orlando Johnson, I know his name's Orlando, but he was just like some gangster from from California, and it's the guy that they stomped out at the Mike Tyson fight that night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the one who basically,
wow.
But then he died like 3 months later, and just like took the rap, I guess.
Right. Convenient.
Yeah, but it was him chirping out after that, got the ball rolling and got all this shit coming together like it's a Halifax Harbor.
Full circle.
Yeah. The life these ones desire.
How poetic.
That's all I got.
Yeah. So what's going to be your next Tennessee Williams adventure? You going to go Cat on the Hot Tin Roof or Glass Menagerie?
I don't know. You guys tell me. What do you think?
I don't know if the definitive movie of the Glass Menagerie, I don't know if there is one, but certainly Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Paul Newman, Elizabeth Taylor, Burl Ives.
I like Paul Newman.
He felt like he peaked with that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Really honed in on the craft and the art.
Everybody's great in it.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie.
All right, let's check it out.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. I should think about leaving because I got to get my car back to my wife.
Yeah.
Did I just ruin the continuity?
No, you're good.
No, it's 9:22. I think it's arriving.
If you're okay with admitting that on the podcast, then
sure. Yeah. No, I told her I'd be a couple.
It's good.
So.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Nice chat.
Yeah, you too, man.
Be back soon.
Okay. Fit some other people in before me. I don't want to.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let get a couple other people in again as well before you get me back again.
I was hoping he wasn't going to say that. Back to the drawing board, I guess.
Yeah, well, these were all empty platitudes. We don't care if you stay or if you go.
Right. Okay, well, thanks, guys,
man.
for a great chat, and we'll do it again soon.
Yeah. All right. Not too soon,
No,
but soon enough.
that's right.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for something.
Cool.
Beware the stranger. Lock your windows, shut your doors. Don't go outside anymore. Beware the stranger.